Our next speaker is Bradley McLamb with NCDEQ. He's our air information reporter. Bradley is an air quality forecaster with the Division of Air Quality. He specializes in meteorological forecasting and analysis along with web development. He has worked on various web development projects to enhance the sharing of air quality information with our partners and the citizens of North Carolina. And I hand it to you, Brad.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Appreciate the opportunity to come here today and present our new tool. I'm going to go through a couple slides just talking about kind of how this tool came about, and then we're going to do a live demo, which hopefully will go well. And so yeah, we're excited about it. So the Ambient Information Reporter, or the AIR tool as we're calling it, was actually developed as part of a new partnership that we have with the State Climate Office of North Carolina. We're really excited about this new collaboration because it's going to enhance our ability to share and develop new web-based products to share our data. We know that it's going to improve our communication and also improve the communication of the relationship, the very intimate relationship between air quality and meteorology, and even vice versa sometimes. So we think the AIR tool is going to do this, but we think this new partnership with the State Climate Office will continue to be able to do this with new tools, new outreach efforts, all kinds of things. Blog posts, which is also, we have a blog post that's accompanying our new tool that also came out on Monday. So encourage everyone to go check that out. And it's going to be available. The AIR tool and this new partnership, we're going to create something that's larger that we're calling the Air Quality Portal. And so that's kind of the housing location for all of these different tools. Some of them will already exist and some of them will be developed in the future. But a couple that are already in existence are the Ozone Design Value Predictor, which we developed at NCDEQ, the Windrose tool, which our colleagues at the Climate Office developed. And also, we also developed some real-time air quality model guidance that we run internally at DAQ and that will be available in the Air Quality Portal for folks to see as well. So yeah, those are three cool tools that will also be part of this Air Quality Portal. But the AIR tool is kind of going to be the keystone project initially that folks are going to come there to hopefully take a look at. So what is the Ambient Information Reporter, or the AIR tool? It's an innovative map-centered interface that contains a wealth of statewide weather and air quality observations. And it also includes our daily air quality forecast. We feel like that the result of the tool is that it's powerful enough for forecasters and professionals to track evolving air quality hazards. But our hope is that it's also accessible enough that the general public and folks that maybe aren't as initiated in meteorology and air quality data can still come and get a good sense of what it's like outside, whether they're concerned about heat wave, or if they're smelling smoke. If we've got code orange forecast alerts out for their area, they can come to the tool and get a good sense of what it's like in their backyard before they step outside. So again, who's it for? As we sort of already alluded to, as I alluded to there, it's for both the public and professionals. We know those are kind of lofty goals, but we feel like that the tool has been developed and we've gathered and curated a lot of feedback from different folks within the targeted groups to hopefully help us with that lofty goal, which is there's a wealth of data at folks' disposal on the tool, but we hope that it's presented in a way that everyone can understand and at least take away the basic idea of, is the air quality okay outside? Is it hot? Whatever they're going there for. What we know that the tool does is, again, it modernizes our data display, and we're very hopeful that it's going to entice folks, our customers, to come to us for their air quality and meteorological data needs, instead of relying on outside sources that maybe doesn't always present the data in the most understandable or relatable way. So yeah, we're really hopeful that folks are going to come now to us, the air quality experts and also the meteorology experts with the State Climate Office, to look for that data. And with this tool and all the data that's available, we feel like we can tell stories to folks about past air quality events, about past meteorological events, because a lot of times you look at a daily value for ozone or particle pollution, and maybe folks are seeing it and it's code green, or it's a moderate code yellow, but they're like, boy, it was really rough outside when I was out there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This doesn't seem right. Those guys don't know what they're talking about. But with this, they can go and look hour by hour at, at a past day and like, oh, okay, I see. It was a little worse when I was out there. And maybe they can look at the smoke or look at the fires or, maybe whatever the case is, maybe it's just really hot. But they can go and look hour by hour and really find out a little more details about what happened on a past day. So we feel like that the tool is going to be great for folks to investigate their own air quality story or meteorology story and see what happened in past times. So with that, without further ado, we're going to switch over here. Hopefully this is going to go smoothly. Does everyone still see the screen? And the map should be on the screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is what folks are going to see when they first load up the air tool, the ambient information reporter. So obviously, clearly front and center on the tool is the map and all of the air quality data and the meteorology data that loads. By default, during the ozone season, we're going to show hourly ozone values, which are the rectangles. Those are our air quality stations. And so we can actually turn off the meteorology temporarily. So these are our air quality stations across the state. And again, by default, we're showing the hourly ozone values. And the same is true for the meteorology. We can also turn off the air quality stations. So these are all the current temperatures across the state. As an example, we can look at the RDU airport and we get a nice pop-up that comes up with some additional conditions that are going on across the state. And if you notice, you can also click on plot. So when you click on plot, you can actually track what's happened hour by hour throughout the current day with temperatures. And obviously we've skyrocketed up into the mid and upper 80s. I guess I shouldn't say skyrocketed because normally we are warmer than this even. But still, we made a nice climb from the mid 70s up to the mid 80s so far today. But again, we can do this with both the meteorology data and the air quality data. So if we want to take a look at a different pollutant, we can look at PM 2.5 across the state. Click on our Johnson County monitor and then click PM 2.5 plot. And we can see that the numbers have been really good today. We're very clean so far today across the state. The last hour just eked into the low yellow range for an hourly value. But with that also in mind, that's just 1 hour. Of course, we have to forecast a 24-hour average, which is what the EPA standards are based on for attainment. So these blue bars are actually tracking the daily average that are underneath the individual hourly points. So we can see how today's not very exciting, but days when the values are a lot higher or fluctuating, you can see how an hourly value affects the daily average. And we'll take a look at an interesting past event later on here we'll kind of show that. So again, on the left-hand side, we have our data selection menus, the date time, so you can go backwards in time and see what's happened earlier in the day. Click on now to view the current conditions. All of our data sets, we have radar, gridded radar data set. So we see some remnants still from Tropical Cyclone Fred, still moving across the eastern part of the state right now. So pretty interesting. And then over here on the right-hand side of the air tool, we have some map tools. So various zoom controls, zooming back into North Carolina. You can also zoom to your location, which we think a lot of folks may be interested in if they're just concerned about their neck of the woods and not necessarily the whole state. We can change the map background. So if that lighter color is killing your eyes or that contrast isn't working, can change the background to dark. Or some people's favorite, the terrain view. We can toggle on and off state boundaries and county boundaries, of course. And then at the bottom, we also have satellite detected fires and smoke. Now, the real intent behind this is really we're looking for large scale events, which what we've been seeing a lot this year is these enormous amounts of smoke that are generated from the Western US wildfires and also some Canadian wildfires. And so when those large areas of smoke are coming in and PM values across the state are yellow or orange, folks can toggle this on and say, oh, okay, I kind of see what's happening here. We've got statewide smoke or smoke across the entire eastern US, just to help folks kind of get a better sense for what might be driving the smoky air outside or the smoke they're smelling or seeing. So we think this is a valuable data set as well. So as prescribed burners, I guess the question can kind of be asked, well, what does the air tool really have for me? being in a partnership with the State Climate Office and also being a former staff member at the Climate Office, I know that the Fire Weather Intelligence Portal is out there, and we want to be really clear that this is in no way, shape, or form a competitor to that. But where we think that this could be valuable for folks is, say you've got a burn scheduled for that morning. If you just want to come and check and see, what's going on right now, make sure those DEQ forecasters have got their forecast in line and make sure nothing is off the rails from what they said. If we forecasted code green and, wherever you're at, if you see code orange, you're like, wow, this seems a little off, then maybe that could raise, a potential red flag. And if, folks ever see that, us as the DEQ forecasters are more than happy to, talk to you to make, if you want to check or see why our forecast doesn't seem to be lining up with the current observations, we're happy to talk about that with folks. But that's kind of where we could envision a burner possibly seeing some value in the tool. And with that in mind, moving over to the forecast conditions tab, you can also see the daily forecast. And let's real quickly. So yeah, you can also see the daily forecast for all of our counties across the state. We issue, the NCDEQ forecasters issue daily air quality forecasts for 91 of the 100 counties across the state, and our colleagues in the Triad, Forsyth County office, issue forecasts for the other 9 counties. But yeah, you can get a direct forecast from here. If you click on any county, a pop-up will appear with additional details about our specific pollutant forecast. We forecast daily for PM 2.5 as well as ozone. And then we also state whether there's an action or burn ban or not. And then there's also a link to our daily forecast discussion as well. We also have the ability to change to hourly view here. We include a lot of the really great data sets that also can be found in the Fire Weather Portal and other locations, but they still show kind of what's behind our forecast. So we just feel like, folks want to see a little bit more detail about why a particular forecast may exist. This is a way to do it. And also, as folks in the air quality forecasting industry, these are some really wonderful data displays to look at to get a general sense of what the airshed's going to be like, what the mixing is going to be like on a given day, what the potential is for air mass stagnation, which is such a critical component to pollution in general. Not being able to disperse is, if it's not able to mix, if the winds are light, all those good things. So this is a quick way to get a quick assessment of that. So with that in mind, we'll quickly switch over to past conditions, which personally I feel like is one of the most powerful parts of the entire tool, because there's so much data on hand here. So when the user first loads the past conditions tab, there's nothing on the map, and that's on purpose. We want folks we feel like when folks visit the past conditions tab, they're probably coming for several different reasons. So quickly, I'm going to run through an example of what you can see on the tool. There's so many things you can look at, both daily and hourly, but we're going to look at a daily example of a really interesting day. Actually, an hourly example, I'm sorry. So we're going to switch back to July 4th, and we're going to go to 8 p.m. at night. We're going to load up particle pollution, PM 2.5, and winds. So what we're looking at here, as it says in the title bar, is the hourly PM 2.5 and the hourly winds on Sunday, July 4th at 8 p.m. You can see the hourly values are code green, and things are looking pretty good. But the meteorology is starting to send off, kind of wave a red flag that you might want to pay attention to if you're an air quality forecaster such as myself. The winds are calm, and knowing what's about to happen, that all the firework displays are about to be set off, this starts to raise some concerns a little bit, because typically when you have winds this calm, it's indicating that there's a pretty strong surface inversion in place. So sure enough, as we advance through time at 9 p.m., some fireworks are just starting to end. We're seeing PM values start to go up, but then it gets really interesting. The 4th of July looks more like Christmas on our map, because the oranges, the reds are taking over. We've got hourly values, rocketing up into the code red range across the Charlotte, the Triad, and the Triangle regions. And again, this is because of that surface inversion, and then just the massive firework and smoke displays that are going on. And so these values are really some of the highest values. I've been an air quality forecaster with DEQ for 8 years, and these are some of the highest hourly values that I've seen outside of the wildfires that we had in 2016. So this was pretty impressive. And really quickly, if we look at our remount monitor in Charlotte and plot the hourly values, we can see this tells the story. Talking about stories, this tells the story. As soon as the fireworks went off, the values rocketed up, and then they slowly went back down the next day. So really interesting. And I know my time's running short, so I'm going to switch back over to our presentation real quickly, just for some closing thoughts. And so what's next with the air tool? It's available now at this URL, and we'll be happy to share it in the chat and everything. We're still collecting feedback. Anyone that has feedback, we want it. We want to hear about any bugs or any suggestions for improvements. We have future plans to create a user's guide, write detailed explanations about all these rich data sets that are on the tool, and possibly a training video. And there's one more thing that we want to say, and that's that we have a mobile version, and it's at the same URL as the desktop version that we're sharing, but it's just been enhanced for mobile devices and their small screen sizes. It retains all the data sets and functionality of the tool, which we're really excited and proud about, and we think it's pretty slick. So we think, especially for the general public, that this is going to be, probably the way the tool is loaded and looked at the most. So we think this is very important to have this. So with that, I know I only have a couple minutes left, but I'll take any questions, and I really appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you. I'm not seeing any questions come through in the chat. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop on or type them into the chat. I think you covered it all really well.
Thank you.
Do you know if tools like this exist for other states or regions?
There are tools that are like this. I mean, in full honesty, we drew some inspiration, especially I think the state of Washington has a really nice air quality tool that's sort of like this. I'm not sure that there's many tools that as intimately combine the air quality with the meteorology data, which is something that we're really proud of. And again, that goes back to our new partnership with the State Climate Office. But yeah, I know there's tools that are that are similar, but I'm not sure if there's one that really is that does exactly this, especially with the amount of meteorology and air quality married together.
Great. And I just saw a question pop up that asked, where can people provide feedback after they've had a chance to use it?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to take it. You can just email me directly. I'm co-developer on the tool, so yeah, I'll be happy to take the feedback, and we hope that we could implement any changes or bug corrections really quickly for folks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.